We understood the requirements. Now let's start the solutioning and see how we can utilize Power Automate. Before doing anything, I want to go through a workflow diagram. So basically, we want to summarize and make sure we clearly understand what the needs are. Then we discuss the elements that we need for the solution. So basically, we need to see our ingredients, what is required. And then finally, we do the initial setup. After that, you're on your own. But before we get there, let's set the expectation right. I'm not sure if you know Chuck Connell, but there is a good chance that you have heard this statement. Junior programmers create simple solutions to simple problems. Senior programmers create complex solutions to complex problems. Great programmers find simple solutions to complex problems. The code written by top-notch programmers may appear obvious once it is finished, but it is vastly more difficult to create. Just as the goal of science is to find simplicity and order in seemingly complex universe, the goal of programming should be to find simple solutions to complex problems. This statement has been shaping my architectural design for more than a decade. So whenever I design, there is one thing that I always consider: simplicity. So let's design with simplicity in mind, and we want to make it as easily understandable as it can possibly be. Feel free to improve it. I'm not saying this is perfect, but I tried my best to make it simple, not something fancy. And at the same time, when I'm building it, I'm trying to utilize as much as possible of the stuff that we learned during this course. So let's see the diagram. The workflow starts when an item is requested. So the supervisor requests the item with the amount. Then, if the amount is below 30, item is added to the weekly purchase. If not, the item goes to the manager. Manager may or may not approve. If manager approves, the item goes to the weekly purchase again. If not, the amount is reduced to 29, and then again, it goes to the weekly purchase. Couldn't be simpler than that. And that's it. The end. Weekly purchase report should be created weekly, while day by day, the items can be added to that list. Now look at this one. If I tell you this is your weekly purchase list, that I add item and amount, the ones that they have been processed are marked as submitted, the one that they are approved, but the request is not sent to the logistics yet, I set the status as pending. Is it really difficult for you to create a flow that runs on a weekly schedule and produces a list of pending items in an email? And then right after that, everything that has been added to the email, let's set the status of these items again to submitted. Oh, come on. I'm pretty sure you all can do it. If you have made it so far, definitely you can do it. And then if I tell you the items here are actually a SharePoint list, the problem is already solved. So basically, divide and conquer strategy. Instead of making one complicated workflow, we create one workflow for item processing, the other workflow that is running on schedule to extract the values and send the email for the weekly purchase. And we can schedule it to run every Friday morning, for example. If that is good enough, let's see what we need to build it. So this is our ingredient. We need a SharePoint online site. It can be team or communication site. I'd rather request a communication site because it's much simpler and it doesn't create a group behind it. And after I'm done, I can easily delete it. We need a SharePoint library to host the inventory Excel file. We need the Excel file that I already added it to the lecture resource. Just click on the resources and download the file. We need to create a weekly purchase list. And we also need to find an email address that is supposed to be the logistics email address. It can be any email. You can even use your own email. That's all good. But we need to get a contact, and this email doesn't necessarily need to be on Microsoft platform. You can use your personal email on Gmail or anywhere else. Ready? Let's start doing this. So the first thing that I do, I go to SharePoint. This is the site that I am the administrator of it. You can create your own site and everything is good. For this one, I want to create a library. So I add an app to create the library to host the inventory Excel file. I click on Document Library and I call it Tailored Docs. I click on Create and my library is created. I click on Tailored Docs, it opens it in a new window. All I need to do, I need to upload the file here. I click on Upload, File. I pick up the file and I click on Open. So the file is uploaded. So far we got Excel file and this file is added to our SharePoint. Now it's time to create our purchase list. And the list must have this structure. Item, or we consider a title, amount, which is going to be a number, and a status that can have two status, either pending or submitted. So I go back to my SharePoint again. Again, I click on this drop down, add an app, and I create a custom list. Weekly purchase. And I click on create. It creates a simple list that just has title. Come on, you can do it. So I look it up. It's called weekly purchase. And it has a title. I'm good with that. I need to add a number field called amount. And I click on save. And now I need to add a choice field. And I call it status choice. And choice 1 is going to be pending. Choice 2 is going to be submitted. Choice 3 does not even exist. Default is going to be pending. And I click on save. So we have our list inside SharePoint. Are we missing anything? I don't think so. If you have the SharePoint site, inside SharePoint, we have a library. The Excel file is created and it's uploaded. We created the weekly purchase list inside SharePoint list, and you can use any email for the logistics email. Great. Now you are in charge. Time to believe in yourself and take the ownership. Good luck.